Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Richard, and this is my garage, and today we're going to be buttoning up some loose ends on the old pickup. So first item on the list is the speedometer. I've been working on the speedometer on this car for a while, off and on. Did the ABA swap on it a while back, and the speedometer was working. And then it got to where it was making a lot of noise, and then eventually stopped working. So I pulled it all apart. Realized that the drive on the speedometer itself had become really hard to turn, which had caused the speedo cable to break. So I put a new speedometer cable on it, changed the drive gear on the cable to the right gear for the transmission that's in the truck now, and hooked it back up to the old speedometer, and it just wasn't cutting it. So I pulled the speedometer apart, tried to free it up a bit, and just could never get it to work. So I'm going to pull the cluster out and try and swap the speedometer over. So let's get to work. Alright, that wasn't too bad. There she is, the old diesel cluster. So as you can tell, the needle is broken off and it's hanging out over here in the bottom. Didn't used to be like that. When I tried to free up the drive in the back the last time, put it back in here, threw the car in reverse, backed up, and the thing spun backwards and ran right into the trip resetter here and just snapped the needle right in half. So my fix the last time didn't work, so we're going to see what we can do to fix that. So the drive is still pretty hard to spin, and if I try to spin it, see, it's not returning back to where it's supposed to go, and you can see in there that the spring for the return has broken. Also, part of what happened when I threw it in reverse, it unwound the spring, went everywhere. So this speedometer's done. So I'm going to pull the cluster apart and try to replace it. Entirely sure what that's from. Okay, so here's the this broken speedometer. Yeah, that spring is just come unwound. There's bits and pieces falling out of it. So something has gone wrong internally. Oh, that's where that piece of broken plastic's from. Yep, it looks like it broke the plastic casing in there. So yeah, this speedometer is now garbage. The replacement, I'm going to try to use the speedometer out of the cluster that was in the GTI. Someone has taken the casing and ground the mounting tabs off of all the corners, probably to try to make it fit into that cabriolet dash. I think the mounts are different for these clusters and the later model clusters. But the speedometer is obviously for a gas engine, and it goes up to 115 miles per hour as opposed to the 85 that the diesel cluster goes up to. And this one, the drive is really easy to spin, and you can test it by hand and see the needle bob up and down like it's supposed to. So I'm going to see if I can't pull this cluster out of, or this speedometer out of this cluster, swap it over to the diesel one, and put it back in, and hopefully it'll work. Okay, well, we got this one out. Let's see if I can't slide it over here into this one, get everything back together. Another thing to point out is that the ribbon on the back of this one is in poor shape. Like a lot of these leads are falling out of there or all but broken. So I don't really have any intentions of using this in the GTI. I'm going to find something that's in a little better shape, or maybe even out of a different car. Not really sure what I want to do there yet, but definitely a good donor for the truck. Okay, looks good. Now I've got a GTI speedometer and a diesel clock. I'm not really worried about running a tachometer in this car, so we'll stick with the clock. I'm going to finish putting this thing back together, and then we'll throw it back in the truck. Well, it's starting to get dark out, but let's give it a test drive and see if it works. Well, it didn't break or try to spin backwards in reverse, so that's a good thing. Got my GPS speedometer app on my cell phone going just to see how accurate this thing is. It looks like it's pretty close. So it bobbles around a little bit, but it's still pretty close. As you probably can tell, the next project is going to be the headlights on this car. The left one, well, they both work. The left one is okay, but the right one, the mounting tabs are broken, so it basically points at the ground. I'm going to be pulling them out. I'm going to replace them with some new headlights and get the rebuild kit for the adjustment tabs. So it's been a few weeks since I finished up the speedometer project, and now I'm ready to move on to the headlights. I'm going with these Headlight H4 replicas made by Autopal. They're not a sealed beam, they're a glass housing with a changeable bulb, which is pretty cool. They're about half the price, maybe even a little less than half the price of the H4s. I got these off of eBay. I think I paid around $60 for the pair, and they even came with these super bright bulbs. I guess we'll see how they do. I also went ahead and got some rebuild kits for the adjusters from Mark 1 Auto House, because I know that at least one of the buckets on the truck has a broken adjuster, maybe even more than one. So we'll get to work pulling these old headlights out. I'm going to have to install the adjuster kits in the buckets, and then we'll get to work on putting these new headlights in there. So let's get going. Looks like both of the adjusters are broken on this one. So it's been a few days since I did the headlight upgrade, and I've been on a few night drives, and I tell you what, these things rock. They're a major improvement over the old headlights I had in there. So if you've got one of these old cars and you're looking for something that's OEM looking but an improvement in the quality of the lighting, these are a great option. Super affordable. Like I said, 60 bucks for the pair. Can't really go wrong. So I think to wrap this episode up, I'm gonna wash the truck up real quick and then see if I can't make me a sticker to go on this back glass. Well, I got it on there and just in the nick of time because it's starting to rain. Turned out pretty good. Not too bad for a easygoing Saturday project. I think I'm going to wrap it up there for this episode of working on the Caddy. Not too sure what we're going to be doing next on this guy, but we're having a lot of fun along the way. Speedometer was a great upgrade. The headlights turned out great, and this sticker turned out pretty well too. So that's going to call it for today, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. See ya.